Rebecca Mitchell stood frozen at the cafe entrance, staring at the man sitting by the window. This couldn't be right. Her best friend Sarah had promised her a successful architect named Daniel, someone polished and impressive. The man at the table wore a simple navy sweater over a collared shirt. His hair was slightly messy, as if he'd been running his hands through it. There was tiredness around his eyes, but also something gentle. He looked up, and their eyes met. Daniel Hartwell recognized her immediately from the photo Sarah had shown him. He saw the hesitation in her face, and his heart sank a little. He'd almost canceled this blind date 3 times today. Being a single father to 2 kids while working as a high school art teacher didn't leave much room for romance. But Sarah had been insistent. Rebecca walked to the table, her red dress suddenly feeling too formal. "Daniel," she said. "Rebecca," he replied, standing politely. "Please sit." She settled into the chair across from him, noting the simple coffee he'd ordered, not the expensive wine she'd expected from an architect. "I have to be honest," Rebecca said after a pause. "You're not who I expected." Daniel smiled softly, and there was no anger in it, just understanding. "Let me guess," he said quietly. "Sarah told you I was an architect." Rebecca nodded, feeling embarrassed. "She means, well," Daniel said, "I was studying architecture once upon a time." He wrapped his hands around his coffee cup. "That was before my wife got sick, before I became a single dad, before life took me down a different road." Rebecca felt her defenses softening despite herself. "I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that." "No," Daniel said gently, "honesty is good. It saves us both time." He leaned back in his chair. "I'm a high school art teacher. I drive a 10-year-old sedan. Most of my clothes are paint stains I can't quite get out." There was no shame in his voice, just truth. "My weekends are spent at soccer games and helping with homework. I'm in bed by 10 because mornings start at 6". Rebecca studied him. She was 53, a successful real estate agent who'd built her life around work after her divorce 8 years ago. She'd agreed to this date because Sarah promised someone established, someone who fit the image she constructed of what her life should look like. "Why did you come?" Rebecca asked. "If you knew Sarah had misrepresented things." Daniel was quiet for a moment. "Because she told me you were kind." He said finally, "She said you volunteer at the animal shelter every Sunday." He met her eyes. "She said you still send birthday cards with handwritten notes to everyone you care about." Rebecca felt something catch in her throat. "That's not very impressive compared to architecture." "Isn't it though?" Daniel said softly. "I've met plenty of impressive people, Rebecca. Most of them are too busy being impressive to be kind." The waiter came, and they ordered. Rebecca found herself ordering soup instead of the salad she planned. Comfort food. As they waited, Daniel told her about his kids. "Emily is 14 and thinks she knows everything," he said with affection warming his voice. "She wants to be a marine biologist. And your other child?" "Jake is 11 and obsessed with building things. Legos mostly, but he's starting to talk about engineering." Daniel's face lit up when he spoke about them. "Their mother passed 4 years ago." He continued, "Breast cancer. She fought hard. That must have been devastating." "It was," Daniel said simply, "but you learn that life doesn't stop for grief." The kids needed breakfast and help with homework and someone to tell them it would be okay. He paused. "So I left architecture school, took a teaching job that gave me summers with them, and learned to braid hair through YouTube videos." Rebecca laughed despite herself. "You braid hair?" "Badly," Daniel admitted with a grin. "Emily stopped letting me touch her hair when she was 12. She said I was ruining her social life." They talked through soup and coffee. Rebecca found herself sharing things she rarely told anyone. About the loneliness of her big, empty house. About how success sometimes felt hollow when there was no one to share it with. "My ex-husband wanted children. she admitted. I was so focused on building my career that I kept saying later. She looked out the window at the city street. Later never came. He left, and I threw myself even more into work. Regrets are heavy things to carry, Daniel said. Do you have them? Daniel acknowledged. I wish I'd spent less time in the architecture studio and more time with my wife when she was healthy. He met Rebecca's gaze. But I learned something important. We can't change yesterday, but we can choose what we do with today. Rebecca felt tears prickling her eyes. I came here expecting someone who would fit into my life as it is. She said, quietly, someone polished who'd take me to expensive restaurants and impress my friends. And instead you got a tired art teacher. No, Rebecca said, and she meant it. I got someone real. Daniel smiled that soft smile again. I should be honest about something else. He said, I can't offer you exotic vacations or fancy dates. He hesitated. But I can offer you Sunday morning pancakes with 2 kids who will probably interrogate you. He continued. Movie nights where we let Jake pick and end up watching the same superhero film for the 100th time. And walks in the park where we talk about real things. Not just a highlight reel everyone posts online, but the messy, beautiful, complicated reality of being human. Rebecca reached across the table and touched his hand. That sounds lovely. They sat in the cafe until the afternoon light turned golden. When they finally left, Daniel walked her to her car. I'd like to see you again, he said. If you're willing to take a chance on someone who's not what you expected. Rebecca thought about her empty house and her carefully constructed life. Then she thought about Daniel's gentle smile and the way he spoke about his children. Yes, she said, I'd like that very much. Sometimes the best things in life aren't what we plan for. Sometimes they're better. 3 months later, Rebecca found herself in Daniel's kitchen teaching Emily how to make her grandmother's lasagna, while Jake showed them both his latest Lego creation. It wasn't the life she'd imagined. It was richer. Real love, she discovered, wasn't about finding someone perfect. It was about finding someone honest, someone kind, someone who showed you that second chances at happiness come in unexpected packages. And sometimes a blind date that starts with disappointment ends with discovering exactly what your heart needed all along.